Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you? Okay. Thank you for stopping by and addressing that. Um, there's a lot of settings on the software. So, as I was saying, unfortunately, I'll take it from the top since you guys didn't hear any of that. Normally, Anthony would be here, and part of my show tonight requires him doing the demonstration, but he's having computer issues. And so we're going to do the best we can without him. Uh, so, what if you could build full apps, design websites, automate your business workflows, or even trade crypto and other things like stocks without knowing a single line of code or waiting for the green light from the government? You could just have a software interface that basically whatever you wanted to build and automate, you could. That's the world that we live in now. And tonight I was planning on showing you how to do that. The first story that I was going to be doing is a hands-on breakdown of the new AI Coder, which is a full stack development software powered by Claude Opus 4.1. I was also going to cover Project Crypto, which is Trump's SEC is now unleashing a new regime on crypto, which is supposed to usher in the new golden age of finance and what that means for your wallet. And finally, the final segment was going to be me and Anthony covering the various changes we're making to this new show. This is actually a new channel. This isn't the standard channel we stream from, and we've made some decisions as to how we're going to be handling our show segments moving forward, which I will get to at the end of the show. So the first segment we're going to talk about is the new Claude Opus 4.1 and the Code LM. This is the AI IED that does it all. And so we're officially basically hitting escape velocity with this new software. I mean, the things that they can do is actually quite stunning. Claude Opus 4.1 just launched yesterday, and when you pair it with the new AI IDE Code LM, which is a companion, it's basically an interface that you run Opus in. You now have an entire developmental team in your browser. So you even if you've never coded or written anything before in software, this combination lets you build websites, apps, bots, automations on command. Basically, you say it does. Code LM is a all-in-one AI development suite powered by Claude Opus 4.1. If you guys have never checked it out, you guys should go to it's Claude.ai. It's free to log into. You basically just need a Google account, or you can put in your email and a password, and you can use the baseline software for free. But for what I am talking about, actually, I think the upgrade is $9. No, to get the base level monthly is $20. It's $17 if you pay for a year up front. But it's extremely powerful, and it does more than coding. It can do Google spreadsheets, emails, calendars, documents. You can connect it to literally thousands of online platforms, anything from YouTube to LinkedIn to your favorite accounting software. it's got thousands of connectors, which is actually a software interface that has been purpose built to interface with these specific software platforms. And the AI can completely take control of the platform, and you basically can use voice commands if you have a mic and direct what you want it to do. You want to write a spreadsheet, you say, hey, I want a spreadsheet, this, and this. It's got to have 10 columns, 4 rows, XYZ, and boom, it spits it out for you. It populates it. You can explain the code to it, like, oh, I want this formula to be in, B3, and even if you don't know the code or the formula, you can explain what you want, and it will come up with the formula. So it's a brand new world where basically anything that you want to try to build or work on is just voice command. It's pretty stunning. So you can choose between chat mode with the software or a full code mode for advanced developers, where you can actually code and it will check your code as you're coding. It can seamlessly, this new interface, which is built by One AI, actually allows you to work with any LLM. So if you had a which large language model such as ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude's, you can have them all in there, and it will switch between any of the systems that you have. So if you have stuff that you've already developed on a platform, you want to bring it in, you can do that. It can autocomplete when you're doing software, like if you're typing along something, it will know where you're going and finish it up for you. It debugs and refactors and code explains in real time as you're working. So if you get confused on something or if you made a mistake, it will point it out to you. So, which in software development is, pretty huge. And so let's say you got a small business, maybe you do music lessons, and you don't have a website, and you want your website to. Tony's not only not visible, he blew up his computer. So yeah, he's not visible. He's completely invisible because he's somewhat. I won't say it. I won't say it. But we all know. Anyways, so Tony is not here tonight, unfortunately. He's actually supposed to be doing the walkthrough on the software. What we had talked about is I was going to walk him through it, and you guys should have been able to see it. We've been working on this all week, and of course, he blew up his computer today. So, pretty disappointing. But anything that you guys are trying to do, let's say you were going back to my example, you had a small business, you're a music person, and you're doing lessons, and you want your calendar, your contact information, you want all that stuff on your website. You don't know how to get that stuff from the various platforms that you use, like maybe you're using Google Calendar and Google Contacts, and then you have some other software for your mass email blasting. Not only can it code up the website for you based on verbal instructions, like I want a music instrument at the top, and I want it to be blue, and whatever. It not only can it do that, but it can connect all these various components so they work seamlessly in your website, and then that data is fed back to you automatically. And so it's amazing. So you can, like I said, you can build bots that scrape the data off the internet, right? And I'm not just saying that you give an instruction and it'll write something, but it can go out and search for topics and write copy and then deliver that stuff to your website. It can schedule posts, all without your interaction, other than you telling it what you want initially. Like every Tuesday, I want it to do this. Then after that, every Tuesday, it will go on the internet, look for the hottest topic, write an article on that, and put that on your website. That's That's the kind of automation we're now getting to with this software. So Claude 4.1 can handle, reaction mitigation, unit testing, and even scrape the web for all sorts of data. Web scraping is like if you wanted to go out and scrape the internet for all the pictures of a certain celebrity or all the articles about AI, it could go out, it would accumulate all those stuff and put it in a folder for you to look at. So these are some of the things that it can do. This one tool replaces 5 tools all in one dashboard, zero integration hassle. If you've done any coding, which I've done a little bit of, you got 20 different pieces of software running. They don't like each other. They're all built by different people. And it's very difficult just to figure out how to make them actually work together to make something, disregarding having the coding experience once you have made the software work together. Now, basically, you get for basically $20 a month, you have full access to this, and it just works. And you don't even need to know how to code. It just does it. And so at this point, I would normally be switching to my plan was to build out a small website live for you guys. But unfortunately, we won't be doing that. And so I don't know if anybody's in the chat, but if you guys have any questions, maybe I could field any live questions about this. I mean, it is really a big step forward in terms of technology. If you wanted to build an app as a teacher that automatically graded your papers, you could build that. You don't need to know how to code anything. You wanted to build a website that tracks your children's location. You don't need to, you can build it. You don't need to go to Verizon. You want to put an app on their phone that reads all of their texts to their friends and looks for things that you're not allowed to say or do. You can build that. Virtually anything that you have ever thought about making into a piece of software, you can now just tell this AI essentially to do. And you can keep refining your instructions to it until you finally get what you want. And this could be anything from something you put on your web browser. It could be something you include on your phone. It's really unlimited to what can be built. Like I said, I spent about, 2 hours playing with it, and I didn't really make anything that I hadn't made before. But what I did notice is where, as in the past, you had to say, oh, I want to build a website, and you describe your website, and then it comes back with its version of your website. It just makes, certain things just wouldn't work right out of the gate. You have to go back and say, oh, fix this, fix that. It might look right, but it doesn't work. This thing, from what I could tell, you give it one command, and it basically spits out a working everything. And it actually thought of things that I didn't necessarily even instruct it to do, but things that seem kind of obvious. It included those. And so I was very impressed with that overall. It's the level of capability of these softwares is really coming along. I mean, every 3 or 4 months, it seems like they're doubling in their ability to do stuff. So, we got a couple people in chat. If there's, hey, Robert, glad you stopped by. Thank you for hitting us up. Unfortunately, Anthony isn't here to celebrate with us on our inaugural new post. But so the next segment, my second segment for this evening, is how the FCC has launched Project Crypto. Trump's SEC has kicked off the American golden age of digital money. The U.S. government has pivoted hard from the Biden administration. Trump's SEC chair, Paul Atkins, announced um, last Friday. Uh, I'm not fully understanding your question, Mark. If you're working and building inside the actual UI of any of these platforms, until the software is completed, and then you export the software as its own software, you always have to stay within the interface. Um, if you were trying to build a automation um, of some kind, like, oh, I want Chat GPT to uh, tell me at every Tuesday to look at the internet for a certain type of data, you have to be in Chat GPT. What I am talking about is building a standalone app as a piece of software that once you have built it, it could go on your phone, it can run on your desktop, whatever you're choosing it to do. But it's separated from I mean, it depends. It's situational. If you were again, if you had completely finished construction of the software and you have debugged it and exported it as a piece of software, uh, that software could be a piece of software that runs on your Android. It could run. I mean, you would have to specifically build it to run on your Android or your Apple phone or your Windows desktop. But once you had completed it, it would be standalone. While you're still designing it, it's stuck inside the interface that you're building it until it's completed. And I don't know if that answers your question. But so it's both. But you can build completely standalone apps that do not need to function within Claude 4.1. They once they're complete, they would be complete standalone products that you could theoretically even sell if they were good enough. So okay, okay. So circling back is I don't know where I left off. So the U.S. government is pivoting hard. Trump's SEC chair Paul Atkins has announced Project Crypto, a full-scale modernization of the digital asset rules. It's not just a policy; it's a declaration that America will dominate crypto in the new era. And I got some breakdowns, but it's more than that. What most people don't understand about crypto, and the huge advantage here is if you were comparing it something to like this, like the what is it? It's not Snap. I forget the rails that Visa uses. Swift, the Swift network, where we transfer money internationally. For that's like basically was made like I think in the 40s, and it's basically mostly still paper. People are actually using rubber stamps to move money around, and it's not even fully digital. What the crypto or digital asset error will be is um, because crypto itself, the actual network, has financial equity. Let's say it's got money built into it. What this is true whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum. There isn't a need to actually wait for it to clear. The money goes in. First of all, it travels at the speed of light, comes out on the other end, and so there is no counterparty risk. That there is no middleman. It doesn't have to, cross 50 different districts and jurisdictions. It goes in as your $3,000 goes into Bitcoin, and it comes out $3,000 on the other end of Bitcoin, and then they transfer the Bitcoin to whatever currency they want. And that aspect on both ends can actually be automated. That's what the whole stablecoin bill is about. And so from end to end, the money doesn't pass through anybody's hands. There isn't anybody taking cuts out of it, and it's instantaneous. So the digital era of money, it is a lot more frictionless. It's a lot more efficient, and there's a lot less middlemen, and there's also no paperwork. And so these things, it's not just, we're on some new funky type of money. It's actually completely replacing the original or the current rails of the financial system, so that all of those people taking bites out of it along the way, transferring money from the United States to China, or between me and you, there is no bank, there is no middlemen, and because there's no middlemen, you're safe. There's nobody to pay, and so that makes it exponentially cheaper, and that's better. And so that's part of the thing that people don't get, is these digital currencies don't just represent a hot asset that's going up in value. It's representing a system that functions, let's say, like digital music downloads, or how the internet transfers data. There's no middleman between me and you. You're seeing my stream live, and you can download it and have it. There is a protocol that runs the internet that we've all built all these things on top of, that do different things. And that's true for the old system of money, but this new system of money is completely programmable. And then once you start factoring in what I was talking about before, where you can actually have like AI, you can basically build robots that trade your money all day long, day or night, based on your core values. And of course, it can get the best data instantaneously all the time, far better than you ever could. And so and then of course the money that you're using is digital. So this is representing a humongous leap forward. The technology in AI combined with Bitcoin, or these digital currencies, it's going to usher in a new system of money that we can't even really imagine yet. But to get back on track, the SEC chair, Paul Atkins, has said most crypto assets are not securities. And so that's been a big question out there for tax regimes, and they're mostly considered commodities, which is better. And so that's the new view of the United States. It's most cryptos are not securities. Project Crypto aims to make the US the global hub of blockchain innovation. For the reasons I just explained, is the blockchain isn't just about a new form of money. It's about the future of how money is transferred. And so by embracing the blockchain concept, the United States is basically securing the dollar's reserve currency status, I think as long as blockchain is a thing, which, could be 100 years, it could be 200 years, who knows? I mean, essentially, until we come up with a better form of computing, basically. And so the SEC is fully supporting self-custody wallets as a core American right. This is humongous, in my opinion, because what under Biden was happening is everything was moving towards a centralized thing, much like the banking system, which would force middlemen in between you and your money. and they were trying to outlaw self-custody, meaning you could just, it'd be like if you own gold, that you could only own gold if you put it in a bank. And so if the bank doesn't like you, they can block you from using your gold. What self-custody means is you can have a wallet that you put in your pocket, and if you don't like how the United States is treating you, you can move to El Salvador, or you can move to Russia, you can move to China, you can move wherever they're going to treat you and your money better. And because it's not inside a institution controlled by the government, basically they have no say what you do with your money. I mean, what can be more American than that? The custody rules will now favor independent control over centralized custodians. I just explained that. And it's as more assets get onto the blockchain, I mean, your real estate's going to become a blockchain asset. Your stocks and bonds, any real world asset that you have, you'll be able to extract the equity out of it and convert it into a cryptocurrency. Probably, I would say Bitcoin would be the safe bet. And there is nobody controlling Bitcoin. There is no central power. Bitcoin is run by the people. It's decentralized. And so there is no corporate office for Bitcoin. And in some of these other commodity concept cryptos, that's the idea, is they are sufficiently decentralized so that there is no corporate office vector of attack. Like, you can't do to Bitcoin what people do to Elon Musk and Tesla, that they don't like what Elon is doing, and so they attack his business and hurt him financially. There's really no way to do that to Bitcoin. There's no centralized person or power that you can single out and threaten and get him to change things. And so that's in my mind great. So the new compliance framework will simplify launching tokens and DeFi protocols. So every asset, whether it's, you know, a stock and bond, whether it's real estate, whether it's a piece of art, will have a, in my mind, down the line, a blockchain representative, a token that represents, or a series of tokens that represent these assets. And you will be able to trade some of these assets for other assets. It seems confusing now, but it's basically just equity loans is what it would basically come down to, in a tokenized version. But that will allow real world assets, that your comic book collection or something like that, or your Monet, to be tokenized, and that value or that ownership could be fractionalized across a group of people. So there's 50 people that own the Monet, and they all get the benefit of that, like kind of like a timeshare on a piece of artwork. Or you can sell off part of that value and then buy it back over time, in theory. So it'd be much like getting equity loans against your property in real estate. And so by reducing the barrier for these things to happen, it means that more of the value, locked up value, will be accessible to the common person. Most of these rules are set in place not to protect anyone, but to make sure that you can't spend your money. And so Trump is aiming to give people more access to the value they've accumulated, is my understanding. The U.S. Treasury and the CFTC are fully aligned, and they're moving in sync in regards to all these new rules and custodial type protocols and stuff like that. So in the past, the U.S. Treasury, all the different, the FEC, what is it called? The SEC and all these other agencies were actually at odd with each other. They were fighting for power, And now under Trump, they are all, in theory, aligned. So basically, what's happening now is there'll be one single license that allows people, if you're a broker or whatever, a single license that'll allow you to have multiple asset types under your brokerage. Basically, in theory, things like Robinhood, that are these apps that have multiple assets available to buy and sell. Technically, Robinhood's always been operating in a gray area, and now this will make it more possible for more people to get into this, not only develop an asset that they can put out there, and of course, yes, there's a risk that there's going to be a lot of bullshit assets out there, but that's why people have to do their research. Luckily, we have AI, but you'll be able to have a lot more variety of things that you can get involved in, not only as a consumer, but as one of these centralized asset managers. So I assume that's good. I don't do a lot of that, so but that's the move. This will reduce legal confusion and slash regulatory overhead for startups and for everybody. There'll be less people taking a bite of the pie, means less fees for us. It's good for everybody, and it makes the United States an attractive place to invest. If these rules are set out, everybody understands these rules, because crypto, the digital asset market, has been a big gray area for like almost a decade and a half. This clarity, and it's already a very popular, it's the best performing asset of all time. With this clarity, you can see a lot of money moving in. Like, I was watching a video that was talking about how stablecoin is going to work as a on-ramp for cryptos. All these stablecoins, which are dollar derivatives, so a stablecoin is pegged to the dollar. It's a cryptocurrency that's pegged to the dollar, and then you have to hold one for one a dollar-backed asset, like U.S. securities, or dollars or whatever it is. But that has to be locked up into one of these chains, whether it's Ethereum, Solana, you name it. There's a bunch of different of these smart contract platforms. And I hear that there's between $2.5 trillion to $5 trillion worth of money that's going to come into these platforms over the next 5 years because of this. So they're all going to want to roll out digital stablecoin dollars. And in order to do that, they're going to have to pick a cryptocurrency to lock up this money into. And so trillions, I mean, the current value of the Bitcoin market, or the cryptocurrency market, I think is 4 trillion. Let me look. Yeah, it's $3.99 trillion for the entire crypto market. Now we're talking about a handful, maybe 5 or 6 cryptos that qualify as these smart contract platforms that are sufficiently developed that they're going to be able to take on this kind of money to make these stable coins. And so basically a handful of products like Ethereum, like XRP, like Solana, like ADA, there's a couple others, they're going to get between 2.5 and $5 trillion worth of new purchasers, basically, that will radically drive up the price on these things over the next 5 years. And it's all this basically all competes directly, essentially, with the Fed, who prints money. So people will not need to go people will not be going to the Fed. The banks won't be going to the Fed to print the money anymore. They will be going and buying cryptos and essentially backing their dollars as though I just described, with cryptos, and that will be kind of a sort of a vector of attack on the central banks, which I personally think have gotten too powerful and are at the root of a lot of the problems that we're experiencing in the world. They're basically monopolies, and now they won't be. They'll still be able to do what they are doing, but there'll be people competing with products that are function exactly like the dollar, but they are more stable or whatever. And one of the things I did not know is up until about 1912, that actually was the status of banks prior to the Fed and the IRS being made. Is before the Beast of Jekyll Isle, where the people got together and formed the central banks, the rich elite class. All banks competed against each other to issue basically gold and silver backed IOUs that were dollars. And the best bank with the most stable money and best reputation issued the most dollars. These dollar backed notes are the silver backed notes. And it wasn't until very recently that we got away from that. And at the same time, that is when the dollar started losing value and inflation started running away. Before that, so this is basically a return to the maybe not, instead of a gold backed system, it's a digital gold backed system. And we'll see. I think it's going to work out much better than what it is, because there'll be competition in the system. So this, like I said, this should reduce legal confusion and slash regulatory overhead for startups. Investors can finally participate in the U.S. crypto growth with confidence, which is basically the first time ever. And exchanges and wallets will face clear, consistent rules, not moving the goalposts or enforcement by lawsuit, which is what the FEC was doing for under Biden, under a project they called Choke Point 2.0, where they were trying to basically get rid of the cryptocurrency market completely out of the United States. So the takeaway, I actually created and you can find it in the link. I kind of outlined my thoughts on this in a document that you can download from the description below the video. I think I called it like the Good Money Guideline or Guidebook or whatever. But it explains some of the things that I was covering here, and you can download it and read it at your leisure. And if you have any questions, leave them as comments and I will try to answer it. Again, I'm not a financial expert, and you should consult somebody that is got the proper legal stuff going for them. But I have been studying crypto for, well, it says 2014, believe it or not, and so that's 11 years, and I am pretty knowledgeable about this stuff. And I've been saying for at least 5 or 6 that this is, and it seemed inevitable to me, was going to be the new financial system. I believe that Bitcoin is going to be the new equivalent of digital gold. And I see that Bitcoin and some of these other assets are going to be the equivalent of the reserve currency. They're going to basically function as like digital oil in the new economy. And it's powerful stuff. So if you're not getting on board, you really need to start investigating this stuff, because it seems clear to me that it's not going anywhere. And so if there's yes, I won't call myself a guru, thanks, Mark, but I am a learned person, and I'm always willing to share my knowledge with anyone else, because what they've been trying to do is trap us. It seems like to me all the rules and regulations have been geared towards holding the American people down and looting us. And I feel for the first time that the system is orienting itself back towards what America was really built on. And I think cryptocurrency really represents that. And I'm glad to help anyone understand how to have more freedom and security and actually control their money. If your money's sitting in the bank, they don't like your politics. They can just say, "Oops, we lost it," and then hold you up for 6 months while they try to find your money. So, which they, never do. Just ask the Canadian truckers when they tried to resist how that worked out for them. So the final segment, of course, there was a bunch of stuff. I was going to show people some stuff. Unfortunately, my brother is not here for me to show you some of the platforms and stuff that I like. But we'll try to do that next time. It's truncating the show, but it is what it is. So the final segment is what we're doing different, and we are renaming the podcast from the Freedom Cast to the Abundance Cast, and why we're doing that and what comes next is what we'll cover a little bit. So this isn't just going to be a political thing anymore, which is how we started off. We're switching more towards a tech podcast, but not tech for tech's sake. This isn't just another tech podcast. The Abundant Podcast is a weekly mission briefing for people who are basically refusing to settle for the status quo of what the elites give us. Here's of course, yes, it's him chasing his tail forever. Um he's very he's a good guy to bounce things off of. And he certainly knows a lot more about the biohacking and health. My brother is 62 years old and he looks younger than me. And so he's 12 years older than me, and he looks at least my age. So he's doing something there. And he definitely has a certain mindset when it comes to a lot of these things. He's quite brilliant in his way, but he's not the most timely of people, and we'll leave it there. So what we're trying to do is give people the tools to take the things that they have, their money, their energy, their knowledge base, and take that and move it forward in a way that allows you to have more abundance. And I see a lot of these tools that are coming out. They can be terrible. Blockchain, AI, biotech, all of these things can be used for horrible results. All we have to do is see what Big Pharma did with COVID, and what the technology companies have done with algorithms. You just have to look at what Facebook has done to your children. These things can be terrible. And so what I'm trying to do is find tools that allow us to take back our lives from these technology overlords and use these tools essentially to our benefit. And it's been a process for me. I've been on this kind of thing since about 2005, as I started realizing, hey, there's something not right with the world. The way things are going, pretty soon we're going to have no freedoms. And now I'm trying to see, is there a way to take these tools and make them work for us. So we're going to be doing weekly episodes structured for fast learning and real world action. Each episode, we're going to be delivering, I'll say, 4 to 6 core segments. And, we split them up between me and my brother with practical use cases. One of the things that I've gotten some feedback on is whether it's my brother's stories or mine, that there is no, it's fascinating. You can take this drug and live forever, but no one knows how to buy the drug or how to find where they're at, what the protocol is to use them. And maybe some of these things are too far out there to be practical. And so we're going to try to move it back closer to real world, practical, demonstratable things that you can implement today, essentially. So every story or every video that we're going to do, we're going to try to have one practical download that, is either a checklist or a protocol or a tool that you can use right then. Our focus is going to be technology in the form of AI, crypto, biohacking, and then lifestyle tech, which is a lot of interesting things out there. And we're also going to talk about, because I've had people ask me, where do I come up with my ideas, and where do I get my information from, and that kind of thing. Partly it's a mindset. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm not trying to say I have any, I'm not Bill Gates. I'm not living like a billionaire, but I have figured out a few things that most people don't seem to know. And I think that the more people that understood it, and so we're going to try to cover some of that stuff, all with the purpose of leading towards a freer mind and a freer life. It seems like the walls are closing in. Everybody's trying to box us in as a people. You're a white guy, you belong in this box. You're a black guy, you belong in that box. You don't talk, you should hate each other, that kind of thing. And what we're trying to do is see past that kind of stuff to the bigger picture. Why are they doing that, and how can we avoid those traps? So we're going to avoid, the fluff. We're not trying to lecture people. We're looking for systems, products, and strategies that will help you live better. We believe in an abundance of earning, although it's not a guarantee that anything we're going to say is going to work. I mean, we're people too, but we're going to try to present you with the best information that we can find and let you decide. So this show is going to be anti-gatekeeping. It's going to be more or less anti-permission. So we're not looking for a doctor or a lawyer or whatever to give us permission to do something. We're not interested in that. We're pro independent. We're pro you having a say in your own life. Basically pro America before 1980. So that's what we're going for. And we're going to be presenting some walkthroughs, guides. Technically, I actually had a couple of demos that we were going to do tonight. And we're going to be diving into new demos and new things that you can do every week. Ultimately, we want to I've talked to a couple of people about this, and we want to get guests on. So we're going to be trying to, obviously we're not going to be getting Glenn Beck or Donald Trump on the show. But we want to get people in that are interesting, that a lot of my friends have, are very successful in various fields. And I want to get them in to talk about what they're doing and the things that they do that work for them and how they go about doing it. So we're going to try to have some guests, and we're going to do have them do some breakdowns, and they're going to share their experiences on how they got to where they're at, if they're anywhere. Some of them are not anywhere. They're, under the bridge. Some of them are living large. And so we're going to get all those people in here so that you can pick. Do you want to live under a bridge, You want to live in a mansion? We'll see. And so we're not here to help you cope with life. We're trying to help you win in life. And our view of winning is essentially not listening to the rules, but not being dependent on somebody dictating to you what you should do. And the perfect example to me is in the last 5 years with the COVID thing. They started dictating to us how to live our lives, who we could see, how we could gather, and all that stuff. And to me, that was something you had to cope with. I didn't do any of that. I didn't do any of it, and to me, that was a win. And to avoid taking poison, avoid being brainwashed, these are the kinds of wins that I hope to help all of us achieve. And any feedback we get from you guys on any systems or things that you've noticed that, or even ideas that tech or tools or whatever it is that you guys know about that we can take a look at. We want to share those with a broader audience, and that would be part of the way that why we would have guests on. So unfortunately, this is going to be a much shorter show than normal. I guess that's good or bad. But ultimately, hopefully, on Friday, we'll have all the kinks worked out and we'll do some of these things. But, I'm thankful that you guys all showed up. Hopefully, next week, our next show, Anthony will be here to help do some demonstrations. Again, I included in the link a brief guide of the status of crypto, what to think about. It's not telling you what to invest in or anything like that, but it'll tell you. Thanks, Mark. It will tell you the stuff that you should be considering, and the basic status, as I understand it, of the crypto market here in the United States. Not the market, but we'll say the status of the regulatory regime and why I'm such a big believer in it, what got me into it, and what you should be considering, in my opinion, in regards to your money. I think I call it the Good Money Guide. I look at the fixing of the money, and I see that currently we have bad money. If we had good money, money that instead of inflating away, that everything depreciated against, and we had essentially a deflationary money, then that would be great for everybody who saved. And that would mean that the more money you save, the longer you save, the more valuable the money gets. And so over time, you become essentially richer and richer, rewarding long-term thinking for both us as a people, but the government as well. Right now, everything is set up to be as nihilistic and brief as possible, and I don't see that as a good state for a country or a people. And that's part of the things that I discuss in the Good Money Guide. So I guess that wraps up the show for tonight. If you could, please like and subscribe. That helps. Leave a comment. I know a lot of you have left comments inside the show, but if you could leave a comment on the actual comment section of the show, that's pretty huge. Again, this is a completely new channel, so all of you, if you would, please subscribe. We need the as many people to hit that subscribe button as possible so that it gets out to more people. And hopefully next show, Anthony will be here and we'll be able to do some demos. Yes, please like and subscribe, Robert. I appreciate it. And you guys have a good night. Again, take a look at my document. I spent a good bit of time on it. And I'd love any feedback. If you guys read through it and it's confusing, please let me know. Leave a comment or contact me directly. Most of you have my phone number. And so I would be glad to explain anything in there that you don't understand or fix any, because I am no writer. So if there's some babbling gobbledygook in there, please let me know so I don't have to be embarrassed. And you guys have a good night.